Okay. Again, I'm privileged and honored to welcome all of you on behalf of Sri Lanka Association for Quality and Productivity for our 8th webinar, which is titled Green Mindset. And I know most of you who have participated in our free webinars earlier may aware of our SLAAQP, which is Sri Lanka Association for Quality and Productivity. However, for those who are new to this webinar today, I would like to give a brief introduction to our association, which is Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Quality and Productivity, founded in 1996. Which was a successor to Quality Circle Association of Sri Lanka, which had been established in 1989. Actually, our vision to be the premier organization nurturing world-class excellence in quality and productivity in Sri Lanka. And I must stress the fact this is a purely a voluntary organization comprised of professionals in various organizations who come together to uplift the productivity and quality in Sri Lanka. That was our aim. And to achieve this, annually we hold an event called National Convention of Quality and Productivity, which is basically to appreciate and recognize contributions from floor-level associates. And we are the only organization do this. We recognize floor-level associates for their contribution and innovativeness in their respective organizations. And without taking much time, I would like to give a brief introduction to our resource person today. She is Professor Hemanthi Ranasinghe. She is a chartered environmental professional having more than 35 years of experience as a trainer, researcher, and a consultant. She is a senior professor in forestry and environmental science in the University of Sri Lanka, and a pioneer in establishing Department of Forestry and Environmental Science in the university. Actually, now she is the very first person to get a PhD in forestry in Sri Lanka. And she is former Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies in University of Sri Lanka, has served as visiting professor in many countries, including York University, University of Toronto, Canada, Yale University, USA, Australia National University, etc., etc. And she is a governing board member in the Central Environmental Authority, chairman of the Forestry Committee of the Council for Agriculture Research Policy, former president and council member of the Institute of Environmental Professionals, and editor of our association. I think, and it goes on and on and on. And just one highlight, she's been elected as the Professional Woman of 2000 year by the Chamber of Commerce in 2000. And without going on taking much time from the actual presentation, I would like to hand over to Professor Hemanthi to do the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Senaratne, for that very elaborate introduction. I hope I would be able to live up to it. First of all, I must say I'm very excited to share with all of you my knowledge, experience over 35 years in the area of environment and sustainability in Sri Lanka and other parts of the world, spanning over many sectors, including government, private and non-governmental, and communities. What I've noticed is, without having a right mindset in all the stakeholders, none of the policies, programs, and activities will be successful, as the key is attitudinal change and commitment to the cause. And this goes for green initiatives also. So I'm thankful to the Sri Lanka Association for Advancement of Quality and Productivity for giving me this opportunity to share my ideas with an international audience and get a good feedback. As the only professional organization promoting quality and productivity in the country, my thanks goes to the association for the recognition of green productivity in the country's quality and productivity agenda. Thanks again to Mr. Udita Senaratne for that introduction. And I would like to share my screen to start my presentation. Okay, so today I'll be talking about green mindset. So in talking about it, we'll discuss the following. What is green mindset? Why we need to talk about it? How to acquire and maintain it? So green mindset is a set of attitudes or beliefs of becoming eco-friendly, friendly to the environment, a commitment to make decisions that lead to an eco-friendly lifestyle. So what would be the characteristics of an eco-friendly person? That person will lead an eco-friendly lifestyle, be a change agent to promote eco-friendly culture in the society, will be a demonstration, would be example, and also, very importantly, will be an activist to safeguard the environment when decisions and actions are taken to harm the environment. That is very important because that is happening in every country, every culture. So, why we need to talk about it is because always we talk about things when we are on the verge of losing them or when we have already lost them. So, in the environment also, environmental sustainability is being talked over and over again in the present era because we are losing it. Losing the balance started with the Industrial Revolution when we were living in harmony with nature. Everybody was sharing this mother earth. But when people, the humans, were able to make weapons, make equipment through Industrial Revolution long time ago, we started toppling this balance. And then it continued with the Green Revolution in 1960s, and then the technological revolution, which is still, very much in vogue now. So this is a small diagrammatic representation of what happened, that we were living in harmony with nature, and then the so-called economic development has brought us to dominate the earth. But it didn't stop there. That is the thing. Now we are flat. Even the present global pandemic, COVID-19, is also an example of our misbehaviors, venturing into areas which we should not have done, and we are suffering because of that. So, because of all this, the nature is in crisis. It's very sad. And world is on a path of destruction through human activity, causing rapid resource depletion and heavy environmental pollution, which has exceeded Earth's threshold capacity. So that is the thing. And this is a diagrammatic representation of our planetary boundaries, which is the safe operating limits for the global community. This is done by a scientific community in US and two other countries in 2009. And they have collected data up to that. And they have identified 9 areas, 9 boundaries, and collected data to find where we are, whether we have crossed the safe limits and how bad it is. And as you could see, 2, biodiversity loss and nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle means that we are emitting a lot of nitrogen to the atmosphere, mainly through fertilizer. We are using a lot of fertilizer, extensive amount of fertilizer through our improved technological innovations in yield enhancement. And so a lot of nitrogen is emitted to the atmosphere. And nitrogen has more than 300 times the global warming potential than carbon dioxide even. And even climate crisis is now getting very much beyond the safe limits. So we have to be mindful of this. So this is really warning that our earth is not balanced. Our earth will erupt anytime. We'll lose the balance anytime. So this is the five biggest environmental issues identified in the world: air pollution and climate change, deforestation, biodiversity loss. Biodiversity may be just the diversity of living beings, but it really ensures the stability of nature. And the extinction is now 10 species, 10 times faster than it was last decade. And overpopulation and soil degradation. And in Sri Lanka also, unplanned economic development and unsustainable consumption has led to land degradation, improper waste disposal, climate change, biodiversity loss, depletion of coastal resources, water pollution. These are some of the issues that we are experiencing. So some causes of why it happened is, of course, escalating global population, and it's much more in developing nations than developed countries. And because of that, we have escalated population as well as escalated the needs and wants. Needs means what you really require to live, but wants is what you like to have. So that is the dangerous thing. What you like to have, there's no boundaries for that, as you could see. And well, housing, we need, the population needs houses, and not only just houses, perhaps, the things which are compared to the neighbor, much bigger house than the house that the neighbor is having, likewise. So there's, the resources of the earth is being extracted in a very unsustainable way, as you could see from here. The sand, the timber, the vehicles. Everybody would like to travel in a car. And so there's a lot of traffic jams, a lot of carbon emissions to the atmosphere. And this is a picture of no radio where in the steep slopes, we have resorted to short-term agriculture to feed the nation. So these are unsustainable practices and luxury. So the people questing for luxury living has imposed a very big challenge to the global balance. These hotel rooms. Hotel room has been identified as one of the highest units which needs a lot of energy, especially in air conditioning and other aspects. And then we have conferences in hotels and where it's fully covered. So we need lighting throughout the day, 24/7, and we need air conditioning. And then we have large buffets, which we may not even require, but it is a mainstay. And hotels have been categorized based on the quality of the buffets that they provide. And also, these housing schemes, these luxury housing schemes are coming up in areas where there are lowlands or wetlands. And so they fill it up and have these schemes. And with the onset of the first rain, they get flooded. So these are the things. And also we have started to use disposals versus durables, which is an easy way of life, like polythene, plastic bags, PET bottles, and aluminum cans. But these really carry, environmental menace. For example, 60,000 plastic bags discarded every 5 seconds in the world, and they take about between 200 to 1,000 years to decompose. And also 2 million plastic bottles dumped every 5 minutes takes 450 years to decompose. And 100,000 aluminum cans thrown into garbage every 30 seconds, which takes 200 to 500 years to decompose. And so what are the impacts of this plastics and polythene on wildlife? This is marine wildlife, for example. Microplastics and overfishing are the leading causes of extensive marine pollution in Sri Lanka. About 80% of the fish stock had dropped in part due to high levels of microplastic contamination. And microplastic, especially the plastic bags, fish misdiagnose them as jellyfish and eat them. And also they get entangled. The turtles get entangled in these plastic bags. And the animals, this is plastic bags once ingested cannot be digested or passed by an animal. So then it stays in the gut, it causes blockages, and ultimately the animal dies. So this is elephant having these issues of the stomach because of this ingestion of plastic bags, and you could see the amount of plastic bags taken out from his gut. And also on the right side, there is in waste dumps, animals eat them because they really don't understand that they are not eatable. And with the post-COVID situation, we are using a lot of plastic and polythene material as masks and as protective equipment, and we are still to face that challenge of effectively disposing them. So one thing I must say, we have all these things, but we are talking about the mindset here. So where would this come in? So I'm just bringing a small example of these regulations on polythene and plastic management brought in by the Central Environment Authority in 2017 to prohibit the manufacture of polythene or polythene products which is 20 or less microns. Then manufacture of food wrappers, lunch sheets, any bag of high density like grocery bags, refuse and other combustible matters inclusive of plastic, use of polythene products as decorations, manufacture of food containers, plates, cups, spoons from expanded polystyrene. So they gave a grace period of more than a year. But see the status now. I mean, we are in 2020, and we are still using it at large, and both by vendors as well as by the consumers. So, I mean, we have not given any heed to these regulations, although we consider ourselves a green society. So, for any green initiatives or any initiatives to work, there is a commitment from everybody, consumers, sellers, authorities, maybe environmental police and other regulators should be there. So is it happening? Yes, we need to think about it. And also, this largest energy consuming sector has become the household, because in every household we use equipment. Sometimes, I mean, we use equipment that we don't really require. Like, for example, if you use a food processor to cut the vegetables, I mean, or we use the other equipment which we could have done without. It consumes energy, and it consumes a lot of water to wash, and we need to rethink, do we really need it? Because it's taking more than 39.4% of our total energy share, which is much more than transport and also industry. So, and also I'm showing these telephones. Everybody is having at least 2 telephones. And so with the end of life, it goes to the, in the land. We don't have landfills as much also, so it goes to the open dump. So this is a very big problem. So because of all these, we are on the path of destruction. So we are having a burning earth. So we need to find solutions to that. To meet the total resource consumption by growing population in 2050, we need more habitable earths, because the resources in this present earth is not enough. Or there's another option to reduce our resource consumption by a factor of X, perhaps 4 to 10, so that we really could adjust to our existing earth. So this picture shows that if trends go as normal, by 2100, definitely we need 4 Earths like this, which is not happening anyway. So the only solution is sustainable development. Sustainable development had been a hackneyed word now since 2000. I mean, it's been talked over and over again, but the pity is that, well, it's not happening that effectively. So it is really PPP, that is people, planet, and profit, improve the standard of living and welfare of populations within the limits of the capacities of the natural resources for the benefit of present and future generations. So it is an inclusive economic growth which benefits everyone, all levels of society, and it is operating within the safe limits. As you could see from this picture, if you go, if you penetrate the safe limit, it will have repercussions and it will come back. But if you work within that, in a tunnel within that, you can have a long-lasting development. So that is tested, that's happening. So therefore, we need to have our development within the safe limits of the natural resources of the earth. So how to do that? As a world community, international laws, conventions are there. As countries, we have policies, regulations, enforcements. As organizations, we have changed to environmentally sound systems. As individuals, that's the most important thing, because all these organizations are comprising of individuals. So unless and until we change our mindset, nothing will happen, right? Nothing will be lasting. So a little bit about the global efforts. We have, I'm showing this Sustainable Development Goals, which is arrived in 2015 by United Nations, and 195 countries had signed it, including Sri Lanka, and it brings together the conservation and sustainable development of land, air, and water resources for the benefit of the earth and earth community, including humans and other animals and plants. So this will be accomplished by bringing together the respective governments, businesses, institutions of higher education, media, and local NGOs to improve the lives of people in their country by 2030. So this is how they're going to do it. And locally, in Sri Lanka, stemming from the Sustainable Development Goals, we have prepared our own agenda, which is called Sustainable Sri Lanka 2030 Vision and Strategic Path. And the present president, in his election manifesto, which is being used now as a policy document, Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor, had dedicated a whole chapter on sustainable environmental policy, which encompasses land, industries, waste management, atmosphere, biodiversity, ocean resources, settlements and cities, and environmental education. But it's not easy to be green. So that's why we're talking here. That's why we are trying to find ways and means as to how to be green and how to maintain it. So there are some misconceptions of going green. For governments, they think that environmentally friendly development may reduce economic development. So especially in a post-COVID situation where a lot of economies were hit, this misconception is very much in vogue. And even Sri Lanka has taken some decisions which are very unfavorable to the environment, I would say, in trying to achieve economic development fast track. And for business, investing in environmental conservation will not be cost effective. That's what they think. And for people, going green is not easy and needs a lot of effort. So these are misconceptions. So like I said, when you refuel the economy with this post-COVID situation, we have this, even the challenges much more. So way forward, it needs to be a win-win solution. We can't lose, economy can't lose, environment can't lose. So it has to be a win-win solution. So how to get to this win-win solution? This is through circular economy. I'll talk about it in detail. That is less carbon intensive, less costly, more productive, and long term. Get more from less. So this is how when we have this production or service economy, we have manufacturing, we have consumption and use, and then we pump resources again to manufacture. But certain amount goes as waste. For example, when you make paper from trees, you take pulp from trees, you make paper, and then there's certain amount of waste because we use paper and we throw it. And again, trees have been cut to make pulp again. But if we devise a way of using the used paper as raw material, then several trees will be saved, and the manufacturing process will be much cost effective also. So using waste as a resource and pumping it back to the industry, may not be that industry even, may be another industry, will really make benefits, so get more from less. With regard to green development, there are other areas also, green agriculture, green transport, using biofuels and renewable energy, green construction, green cities, and green employment. But the crux of the matter is consumption and production. That because of that, we have created problems. Because of that, we can solve the problems. And who is consuming? Everybody. But in the core, it is the man, us. So the crux of the matter is that we need to rethink about the resources that we use to sustain ourselves and try to minimize them, try to reduce them so that we can reduce our ecological footprint. Ecological footprint is a measure of human demand on the Earth's ecosystems. For our sustenance, we need a lot of resources, and to see what they are. A standardized measure of demand for natural capital that may be contrasted with the planet's ecological capacity to regenerate. So with regard to industry, because I know that industrial people are also listening to this webinar, some examples from Sri Lanka are there, but then with regard to facts, I would like to take examples from outside Sri Lanka. Pacific Gas and Electric Company in US have installed energy efficient lighting, heating, and cooling systems in the new federal building in Oakland, resulting in annual cost savings of more than $600,000 and environmental payoffs that come from saving nearly 6 million kilowatt hours of energy each year. So, I mean, by resorting to green practices, they have really made money. So in Sri Lanka, there are a few examples that I would like to take. This is a Aiken print factory in Mandir of Kiribati, where they have used natural lighting mostly in their factory, natural lighting from these light cells, and also point sources when light is really required. And energy efficient lighting, maximizing the natural light, cooling system in this printing factory had incurred large cost savings in energy for them. And this is MS Holdings. And in their factories, they have installed solar roofs, and they are generating their energy requirements, and therefore their cost of production has come down. And also there's another initiative taken by MS Holdings, and this is more to safeguard the environment and trying to find a solution for the PET bottles, and they had upcycled the PET bottles and made t-shirts and this is a t-shirt made to the Sri Lankan cricket team. So there's another factory again, MS Turuli factory in Tulhiria, where you could see that they have used simple solutions like tall roofs, open corridors, green roofs, where there's a roof is planted up on ponds with a lot of water had really reduced the heat and had incurred 40% of energy savings, 50% of water savings, and generates 10% of electricity from solar panels on the roof. And their carbon footprint has come down, and it is only 9 tons per hectare, which is extremely low. So this, in fact, I have visited this several times, and once I went there to this canteen, which is in the ground floor. There was no air conditioning, no fans, nothing whatsoever, but it was very cool to find that the roof is a green roof, and because of that, the insulation is there. So this is another green roof on the left side, which is a mandatory requirement in Canada for new buildings. It is mandatory because then it really reduces the cost for energy. And also on the right side, the living walls, which is also mandatory in certain countries, which has been found that it reduces the 50% of air conditioning cost because of this greenery. So we can resort to that. And rooftops and balconies, we can use many greenery as possible. And some initiatives from the government sector also. This is a long-term generation plan of the Ceylon Electricity Board up to 2037, where they have indicated that they'll be using a lot of renewable energies for energy generation. As you could see, the solar component, the wind component is increasing. And so in total, as a percentage, by 2030, there would be more than 55%. In fact, even if everything goes well, by 2020, there would be 55% of the total energy taken from renewable sources, which is less environmentally damaging, very much less. And in the transport sector, the government is escalating the public transport component, as you could see, dedicated buses and have more railways. And as a railway can take maybe 1,500 people can travel in a train per hour, this will replace 1,500 less cars on the road per hour. So, I mean, it is a very efficient way of public transport. And also in offices, paperless office. We don't really require paper because we are doing a lot of things electronically. But however, man is the key to change. So we're talking again on us, how we could change everything. And as I reiterated earlier, sustainable consumption, intelligent consumption, shedding away the emotional consumption patterns. And sustainable consumption and production has many aspects. Sustainable lifestyles, to start with, resource management, design for sustainability, cleaner production and resource efficiency, sustainable transport, eco-labeling and certification, sustainable procurement, sustainable marketing. So first we have to start with voluntary simplicity, simple living that rejects high consumption, looks outwardly simple, inwardly rich. In fact, this is the key to identify what is your needs and what is your wants. Experience from the lockdown period due to COVID-19 really facilitated almost everybody because the resources were so scarce, but we survived. And so we really realized this is what we need, and what we have been consuming is extra. So that extra we can think twice and eliminate. So that is identifying the needs and the wants. And some tips for our green lifestyles: adopt 7R practice for resource minimization. We know that three R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. I mean, it's been used over and over again. Some other things had been added up. Refuse to buy. Refuse to buy. Do I really need it? When you go to buy something, you think twice. Where do I keep it in my home? Why do I need it? Do I have anything else which I can use as an alternative? And you repair things. At the first damage, you try to throw your maybe material, but no, you repair it and use it. And if you don't like something, you gift it so that somebody else will have it. That person doesn't have to go and buy and recover. So this is first, we live in our houses. So there are certain things that we can do towards green building, that is solar roofs, so that we could make our own energy and have large verandas and have greenery around the house. Then we can do rainwater harvesting so that we can use that water for our toilets and for our washings, so, and for our garden, so that we don't really have to use the water taken from the other sources for this. And turn off electronic lighting and air conditioning fans every evening. The switch off policy. Switch off the equipment from the main plug. If someone forgets, then he or she has to put money in the green fund. It's a game, but it will work. And water conservation, as I said, the guttering, rainwater harvesting tank can be either on the roof or in the bottom, but to use that for washing purposes and the garden. And create monthly green challenges, like no use of plastic bags, reward those who stick to it, reduce the energy bill by sectors, and reward. In the household itself, in offices, we can have these small challenges so that it will be like a game and it will happen. Plant more and more trees. On average, one tree produces nearly 260 pounds of oxygen per year, and a mature tree absorbs carbon dioxide at a rate of 48 pounds per year. So, and also not only that, during the COVID period also, everybody resorted to their home gardens. So, why did we do that? One thing, of course, we didn't have anything else to do. And the other thing is, even if we don't get our grocery supplies, we have supplies in our own home garden, which will make ourselves self-sufficient. So even if you have a small space, you can have mini gardens like this picture shows. I mean, space doesn't really limit yourself to plant trees. And these are some PET bottles which is being used as pots. And encourage green commuting and limit travel to bare essentials, which has happened with the COVID. Because now many establishments are having online work, and also when we go full swing, even we can do a lot of carpooling, so that if a few people are going to the same place, we can share the vehicles. We can walk as much as possible. If we can walk, resort to walking than going by vehicles. We can use various things. This is us. And also we categorize the waste, because the main problem the government is facing, the local authorities are facing, is mixed waste. If you categorize the waste, then it's very easy to find sustainable solutions to waste. And it comes from us, from the source of waste. And reduce single-use plastics, yes. We can do our bit. Use reusable bags when shopping, to avoid accumulation of a lot of polythene. We know that when we go to grocery stores, they give polythene bags for every item. And we say yes, and we take it. And they don't even say, okay, they don't charge. They should, but they don't even charge for these bags. So we should say no. We should take our own bag with us and should say at the counter, no, I have my own bag. And as the vendor, you should really charge for the polythene bag. Maybe not a lot, but a small sum, but that really gives a message. And take a list and buy only what you need and don't buy emotion. And these are some of these foldable bags that the ladies and gentlemen can take it in their own pockets. And this is some innovative jute diversified products, because Bangladesh had stopped polythene altogether. So if they can do it, I mean, I'm sure we can do it too. And they may have jute, but we have other things which we can think of. But thing is, we need the proper conducive environment for this. And replace PET bottles with glass bottles at events, which is doable, which is very much doable. And have communal mindset to clean after others. That, of course, we don't have most of the time. I mean, we try to point fingers at others, but we don't really spend time collecting other people's garbage, unless it is an event, but we should. And purchase green products, things to consider always. We should think of durability. Replacement is infrequent, so it is good. The energy consumption, we had to check the Energy Star labels. This shows a fridge, which is having this energy rating. So we always have to look at the energy levels wherever it's available when we buy products. And also try to reduce products with has hazardous waste, like batteries. Batteries has hazardous, it's a hazardous waste. So we really should minimize them. And the key to success is us, and us being a responsible citizen, doing our bit. Not only that, take action to save the environment, even if it is not in your backyard. If somebody else's, or it's in the environment where you live, the locality you live, maybe the country at large, when you have to take action. You have to. You should not leave it to NGOs and say, let NGOs do it, but we just keep quiet. No, everybody should get together and fight for it until it makes it happen. Support to implement the green policies, laws, and regulations, and put pressure on authorities alone and as a team to safeguard the environment when necessary. It's very important. Like this, I mean, the participating in green initiatives, everybody should participate, like I said, with regard to this polythene issue. And not only that, but government and business are less powerful when it comes to empowered civil society, or us, because we get together and say, okay, this should be done, then governments and businesses have to do it. So we need to be empowered to identify the environmental issues and fight for it, work for it, so that our finite natural resources will be safeguarded. So, so great things are done by a series of small things brought together. It's a small quote. So I'd like to end my presentation with that note. So thank you very much, all of you, for listening, and also for the organizers for inviting me to share my thoughts on it. And if you need any further clarification or any communication, my email is there. So thank you very
much. Thank you, Professor Hemanthi Ranasinghe. And now, as usually what we have been doing earlier as well, if anybody would like to ask a question, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question, and then mute yourself again, so then that will pave the way to others to raise their questions. So please, I'll invite the forum to ask questions if they have any.
Professor, I'm Anil, talking to you from Perth. Firstly, thank you very much for an excellent presentation. Why is it that the country doesn't communicate the message through? Because I think it appeals to everybody, not necessarily to us. It's a very limited number. So, I mean, easily these things can be practiced.
Yes, actually, we'll be posting this in YouTube and Facebook also. so that there would be a discussion generated in the social media on this.
Sorry, good evening,
All
Professor Ranasinghe. Thank you for your presentation. And this is a very topical issue. But in terms of Sri Lanka, could you kindly let us know what is the biggest challenge we have just now, and what steps are being taken both from a central governmental point of view, from an academic point of view, as well as mobilizing social forces to focus their minds to the challenge that we have in Sri Lanka?
There's not only one challenge, but I mentioned few challenges, no?
Yeah, that is correct. What I'm asking is, what is the main challenge that we face with today? Because if you think about, we see Wilpath being decimated. We hear about Singaraja being encroached on. So there are all kinds of issues that are going on. So amidst this multitude of issues that we have, which is a challenge for the green environment that we are talking about, what is the thing that we need to focus on, which will bring about the best results?
Yes, this although all these challenges like the marine pollution, which I said is very important factor, the climate change, the deforestation, land degradation, waste management, all these things are very pressing issues anytime in Sri Lanka and also in the world. But for example, if I may take a small issue which has been in the social media, very much at large, is this the degazetting of the other state forest because of COVID situation. Because there's about 600,000 hectares of forest which has been under the forest department, and the government has been speculating on degazetting it so that it can be given to people for the agricultural activities, because the economy, now the country is looking at how to maximally utilize the land because the economy needs to be regenerated. But this is an issue because a lot of activists had come forward and even filed a petition also not to decasset it, because these forests are, although they are called other state forests, they are very much important important as habitats, as watersheds, and as balance, to create the balance between the environment and development. And also it is a very big chunk of the forest land, because at the moment we have 29.6% of the forest land, and government has given the undertaking to the UNFCCC that by 2030 that we will increase the forest land to 32%, and that is to have to sequester carbon dioxide, so that we would be a carbon sink and not a source. So, but if we degasset them and release it, we might not be able to meet that challenge at all. So there's a lot of discussion and protest against this one, and I do not think that government will pursue with it. So that is what I say, activism. So of course, one NGO, especially Center for Environmental Justice, took the lead. I'm very happy, and I think that there should be more and more NGOs like this to lead these kind of initiatives. But many people followed them, many people supported them, and now it's come to a stage where this will not be done. So, I mean, this is just one of these issues. Wilpattu, also same thing happened to Wilpattu. So, and another issue is coming up, that there would be a lot of chemical loads which would be sent to the sea illegally by a company. So, these things, I must say that we should be mindful, we should be sensitive to it, and we should have forums to fight against it so that the environment in our country will be safe.
Okay, thanks. So that you see to be the main challenge just now?
Well, in this moment, I would say.
Yes, fair enough. That's okay. That's what I want to know, what the main issue just now in Sri Lanka is. Thank you.
Professor, there's a question from one of the participants. It's asking, why is it difficult to establish sustainable organic farming inside polytunnels in Sri Lanka? And how can we overcome difficulties?
Sustainable organic farming and polytunnels, I really don't see why not, because, why you use polytunnels is for a reason. And why polytunnels are mostly being used to create the conducive environment that a plant needs. And it's been mostly used in cold countries to plant tropical plants. But in the tropics, we don't really need polytunnels, because when we have polytunnels, it increases the temperature, and it may be even scorching. So we need to regulate the temperature and the water and everything in polytunnels. There's no connection between these two. So the organic fertilizer, or applying organic material as fertilizer against the inorganic material, is two different things. And I really don't see any connection between these two.
There's another question. How to change easy way mindset in the not that easy being green mindful?
I guess my whole talk was on that. Yes.
I thought that's one of the questions.
Because I must say, any good thing is not easy. If you want to do something good, well, it needs effort. And because that is called entropy, I would say, that even in a house, you want to keep the house nice and tidy. So you had to put a lot of effort to it. But the moment you relax, it goes berserk. So entropy is that, the whole world is, geared to disrupt things, but you need to put effort to it. So even green, or the goodness, safeguarding the environment, is difficult, but we need to put effort to it, and which is really worthy. It really pays.
There's one more question being forwarded by the forum. Why it is difficult to inculcate green mindset? The biggest challenge, is it the politics or the administration?
No, can you, I mentioned in my presentation the three things why it is difficult, because there's so much of misconceptions. The politics or the administration or the governments might think that going green will have problems or debacles in achieving the development, the economic development, although nowadays, of course, government can't think about it in the international context, where these United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and all the governments are aligning to it. Just a thinking only, but governments have aligned, or they have in paper aligned to all the development plans into these SDGs now. But sometimes, these things may happen that they might take decisions which are on the contrary. And businesses also, they think that, if by resorting to environmental practices, they lose money, that they have to spend a lot of money on ensuring the environment, so that, the economic, the real benefit will not be reaped, which is wrong, which is a misconception. As I detailed in my presentation, going green really saves you money, but there's a misconception. So that is why, and you yourself, the individual also, like this small example I took in this polythene case, the government has really taken initiatives to ban certain polythene, which is really harmful to the environment. But we didn't care. And even now, as we speak, the polythene is just widely available in vendors and consumers. We as consumers also go and take it, and without any, two things. We just go and we take it as a everyday thing to use it. But where did we go wrong? So it's finally it's us. It's government also is comprising of people. and in industries, the institutions are headed by people. So everything boils down to us, the individuals. And if we have a proper mindset, green mindset, things will really change.
I'm Premachandra from IPSL. Yeah, this the thing is, I think most important and most difficult part is this change of individual attitudes. I think for the diving, it's the most important driving force for this green mindset. As university academy, how can you change these attitudes for individuals? Individual, of course, undergraduates and other university students during your research and other studies. What are the activities or what are the activities set for these individual mindset changes?
Yes, I must say that in Sri Lanka there are universities, including my university, where there's environmental studies is being taught in many departments, and including the forestry and environment science department, and most of the departments. Well, I must say that in most of the developed countries and the other countries in the world, in every course, in every discipline, they teach a course unit or units called eco-literacy. I mean, that is the beauty of it. Let it be the management stream, let it be the art stream, let it be the law stream. Everybody has to learn eco-literacy. Eco-literacy means that what we talked about now, how this earth was formulated, what are the components of it, what are the issues, and how it had happened, and what are the things that we need to do. So even a student of another discipline learns about these ecosystems, the earth ecosystems, and how to protect them. So in Sri Lanka, we don't have that yet, and we need to introduce these course units on eco-literacy to all the streams. But yes, as much as possible in curricula, we teach the students, and we have practicals, then we have case studies, student activities, where we give scenarios like this and let them come up with their own suggestions so that they can think about what would be the methodologies to safeguard the environment. And we need to expand to all the disciplines, which is not in case of Sri Lanka yet, but I really would like to request this from the officials who are responsible to do this. It's been done.
But can you say some examples where there are good setup for this type of things? For example, rainwater harvesting, the photovoltaic, solar panels, and other environmentally friendly or energy saving practices in universities, maybe in Sri Lanka, maybe in foreign countries, so that university students' life, their behavior during the university life is changed, because ultimately they go to the society as educated people, and they will be prime movers for maybe in schools, maybe in organizations, but they should have some examples, real examples. That means during the university life, they should have some actual behavior, environmental friendly behavior. Correct that we have some very good streams with a lot of environmental inputs, but still, if we can inculcate some practices during their university life, I think that will be a great step for these individual green mindset settings.
Yes, definitely it is the case. In Morituva University, I know that there are some, like even this, they have created this the three-wheeler run by biofuels, and also these maybe some universities they're having their own in setups. And I must say that you talked only about this the materialistic aspect, but I would like to take a classic example of our university, where we have established Animal Welfare Association, looking after the animals in the university premises to start with, and also
Yes, very good. Very good. That type of examples are very good examples for my
I was I really, I was the founder of that one, and we started with few people having the real commitment, but later on, I mean, it was institutionalized in the university, and then we have networks with other similar organizations in the country also, and we really do big thing. So irrespective of the study streams, the people, students and staff are engaged in these things. So that also really creates a green mindset, humanitarian mindset, I would say.
I think we should replicate those type of examples in other universities and organizations too. Thank you very much.
Actually, to your question, another thing I would like to say, we were having a small collaboration with a trial university in Germany, where they really have their own establishment. They act as a consultancy firm, and they work with the industries in and around them on developing or expanding these green innovations, green practices in energy, in water conservation, in other aspects, in wind farms and renewable energy generation. Their students work in these establishments as workers. I mean, these are course units where you really can claim credits, where you actually work in the industry. So, I mean, we need to have that kind of a model in our own universities also, so that we work in the industry as partners. So we need to achieve that one in the near future.
Thank you very much for your comprehensive answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
While you were answering that gentleman, there was a valuable comment from one of the participants that this green mindset should start from kindergarten, for children. Should be trained from there. I think that's a very valuable comment. Yes. And I think now time has gone 7. Professor, thank you very much for your time and valuable presentation. And we would like to end our presentation, today's webinar here. Before we stop, I would like to remind you, gentlemen or ladies, that next week we have another very interesting topic, which is Six Sigma in a nutshell, which has been presented by one of prominent members, Madhu. He is one of the council members. And I would like to welcome you to participate in this webinar. As you can see on the screen, that's our website. Please visit the website and you can get all the details. It will be published in our website very soon. And thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you for your participation again. Bye.